Hi, it's great meeting with you. I'm glad you're here with our company, and I heard you wanted to learn a bit about your position, sort of as the paraprofessional, and sort of what we do in this financial department here at our company. So, basically, our financial section of our company makes our money from investing stocks and bonds, and so at our company we take our additional capital, and that is put into our investment fund, and we use that fund and we diversify those into various stocks and bonds that us analysts deem as the most profitable. So we will buy certain stocks and bonds at that time and then sell them once we've decided that we've made the right profit. So this could be over a few days or over a few years. The profits from these investments go back into the investment fund, and then in turn that also grows our overall capital. So how the interest is calculated on a bond is very sort of a pretty easy calculation that I could explain to you here. So for example, if you pretend that you purchased a bond with a par value of $500,000 and this bond pays you 5% coupon, then you would have $25,000 per year, which is basically what that 5% is. So now let's pretend that the price of that bond here dropped to $250,000 from $500,000 in the first year due to change in interest rates in the marketplace or whatnot. The yield would then be 10%. So since the bond's yield is the coupon payment as a percentage of its current value, so the coupon would be the 5%, and that would end up being the $25,000, what it was initially out of the $500,000, but now it would be 10%, which is the current value, because the current value is $250,000, so $25,000 of $250,000 is 10%, so that is your yield percentage. So as bond prices drop, the yield percentage goes up, basically. Hopefully that made sense to you, and obviously if any questions, just ask along the way here. So in terms of other stocks we would invest in would maybe be some sort of dividends. So some dividends that we might see from corporations, there's really two main types that we deal with, which be dividends of cash dividends and stock dividends. So for cash dividends, you're paid a certain dividend amount in cash by the corporation each month as you hold those shares. And then for the stock dividend, we would receive additional shares of that corporation's stock each month. But those additional shares would be less than 25% of the total number of shares. Because once it goes above that, that would be considered a stock split. And a stock split is basically when a corporation turns its shares into multiple shares. So that would be basically giving a lot more shares to existing shareholders. So this would increase the total number of shares. They would just issue out a lot more shares to the existing shareholders. And a split like this is usually used in order to alter the price of a company's stock downward. And they do this so that they think that their stock would be more accessible to retail investors. Also, we want to sort of focus on your aspect of the job, which would be sort of the communication side, being the paraprofessional. So you want to be able to obviously communicate properly with all of us in the financial industry here. So I think the main point to cover is that you want to always treat people with respect and dignity, and always treat them as maybe a superior to you in some way. Always give them a good handshake and speak to them with the due respect that they deserve. And because we're always trying to build strong relationships with our partners, and if they don't feel respected, then it would be hard to make those certain deals that we're looking for. Also, you're going to want to sort of employ some communication skills that are important, are sort of being more technically advanced. So you got to be using better vocabulary, sort of the technical terms. So it might take a little bit of time to sort of get used to it, but you're going to have to learn a few vocabulary pieces, such as what I've gone over, the stocks, bonds, dividends, stock splits, and whatnot. So that's an important piece to cover as well. And I mean, you may wonder why bonds are really important to get from reputable companies, and I think that our bonds should only be bought from reputable companies because in many cases people are trying to sell bonds at unfair prices, or they just truly don't understand what the bonds are that they're selling. So we always want to try to ensure that we have minimal risk when we're trying to buy our bonds. So going to reputable companies is important, and that's something you should know as a paraprofessional and who you're contacting. Also, you may ask us like how should all the companies that are on the market invest in stocks and bonds, and is it just specific to our company? So I would say no, that some companies do not have the excess capital in order to actually invest in different stocks and bonds. So it would be more on a case-to-case basis, and in their case, it'd be more beneficial to put those funds towards improving their business overall. While otherwise, for companies that do have the money, like our company, I think investing in stocks and bonds is extremely important because when you invest in these different stocks and bonds, you're basically hedging your risk. And what that means is you're just opposing the risk on the opposite side of your company here. So this means that your losses elsewhere can easily be made up for the proper investing on the other side. So what we do here on the financial side by investing is basically just minimize all the risk of the rest of the company. And in some cases, when we have less risk than other times, we actually start profiting a lot more than we would if we were not investing. So that if that makes sense to you and your questions are answered, that could conclude our meeting here. I mean, obviously, if you have any more questions, go ahead and ask them. And you have my phone number, my contact. Feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. I'll be with you as soon as I can and always answer any questions you might have. And I hope you really enjoy working for our company, and thank you for meeting with me.